We're playing Reyna. Now, Reyna as an agent is very interesting when we talk about duelist in comparison. There isn't really a whole lot of tech you need. So when it comes down to how you approach this part of the game, when you play Reyna, you actually only have to be good at two things. You have to be really good with your mechanics, and you also need to be good about the macro of the game when you're trying to climb. There's like a lot of people who can do this and kind of skip the rest. The reason why it's kind of hard to transition Reyna into other agents is because then now we have to enter the fourth column of ability usage. But there isn't a whole lot of learning curve when it comes to ability usage. Very simple. Probably one of the most simple kits in the game. I'm thinking of everyone else. Who else is more simple? I don't think there's anyone else more simple. Maybe Chamber. Chamber's probably a little bit more simpler, easier to pick up for a lot of players. But besides that, it's not going to really be impactful. So yeah, a lot of it is going to be mechanical set. And maybe we'll have to talk a little bit about the macro. Usually I talk about the macro before I talk about micro. That's just my specialty. Yeah, I have no idea what live Briggy Ninja was talking about with this this set. I mean, I kind of get the gist of where I was coming from, but I don't really believe that. Reyna has an ability toolkit, much like every other agent, so it's very disingenuous to be like, oh, we're just not going to talk about ability usage, which of course we do end up talking about the ability usage throughout the VOD, so the point I think is pretty mute. I think it's super interconnected as well, because your ability usage, like how you use your abilities, can dictate, and especially in an agent as dynamic as Reyna, it impacts her positioning, and impacts her ability to fight, like take certain types of fights. The ability to reposition has always been super huge, of course. There's a lot of like levels and layers to the game that you can't just strip one of them out and say, hey, we're not looking at this anymore. I think that's really dumb. I think that was a really bad take of mine. I don't even know why I said it. It's just like, I could have skipped the whole thing and just been like, oh, cool, Reyna VOD, let's go. Let's see it. Yeah, and if you do not come to me for aim mechanics coaching. Like, the easiest way to show up, like, I can give you the basics and get you started, but I am also only an intermediate skill, and I'm still trying to get to the level where I can teach it, and I'm not. But we shall see.
We have fun, we improve, we have a good time.
Yes. Good mentality. All good. That round was pretty much decided very early. There's like a slight thing. It is slight, but whenever you hold this angle from down here, you don't want to hold for this guy, because what most players will do is a jump peek, and they'll hit right there. So what most players should do is you pre-aim this, and then like you just do the flick downwards. Yeah, the Jet players know for sure, but that's just like a little micro thing that you can look to do. That's not like super transformative or anything. I mean, that was really risky. Except like the Omen was covering, so I'm down. I'm down as like a bait. Nothing super insane. As long as we're controlling, we're chilling. And we hit. I don't like that though. Something about that doesn't scream like good. So my thing on aggression is like you're either 100% or you're like 100%, you're 50, or you're like 0. Actually, there's a dumb take that I'm about to get I'm gonna get mad at myself for making that take. Just kidding. Never mind. Let me think about it a little bit more in my head. Yeah, this take from past me kind of contradicts something that I would say earlier on, where aggression and passivity fit on this sort of gradient where you can be the most aggressive 100 style play of the year, or you can be just the sit and spawn, like passive, scared, like little agent. You can play both of those ways. I think one's just as bad as the other, a little tweaking to some, but I think every line fits on a gradient. So like There, you play from 100 to 0, not like 150 or 0. I don't think there are fixed points of aggression. And in context to this play, I think that the aggression was unwarranted, not only because of the weapon of choice, which I should have made apparent, but I really disagree with how we handled or how we scaled, or did we have a plan of aggression? Did we match intentions a bit? I say that with the Marshal in particular, we shouldn't be looking to scale super aggressively. You might find some players, but especially if we're trying to find some close range fight, like, what? No. Use your range advantage. You bought this weapon, an immobile sniper, to shoot people at long range. That's what we bought the gun for, not to run at them. So I think that was more in line of what I should have been saying, is like, hey, you bought a Marshal, chill. See what happens. Let them come to you, because they will come to you. And then play the game out from there. So we know the Sova's there. This guy's here. I mean, this is just over aggression because we're going into a line that's contested by 2 players. Maybe the Fade's kind of baiting a tad bit. And these guys aren't ready to trade us. It's like we're a little ahead of the pact. We took the 1. We're missing some level of discipline. I actually had signs of this in my previous game. I was playing Unbind, and I was just literally running up by myself and dying in showers alone with Spike, because I'm a freak of nature. And in this spot, if you're not tradable, it's kind of hard to justify it. If you were tradable, then it's like, oh yeah, just run at this guy. And then this guy kills this guy, and then you win the round, and life's good, you're moving on already. But there's like a real... Yeah, because now they're in like some crazy crossfire, which is really tough. I think this is backwards. You feel me? You didn't want to take the risk when you were down bottom, like mid, but you do want to take the risk if you're Sheriff. Low buy, they have guns. I'm just saying, like, I would not, like, I would hear a footstep B and I would get wide. And then maybe I would get cooked by this Phoenix flash. So I would totally be down to just stay here and hold, like, jiggle this. But I'm also down to get aggressive and try to walk on this guy. I think falling back is not a play that I associate with a Reyna player who, like, had that aggressiveness, like, towards mid. Yeah, because that's just a lurker, right? So if you think about it, if they're making footsteps, like 1 footstep B, there's a lot of noise towards A, it's a lurker, right? And so we know it's a lurker, but what kind of lurker? On this map, the most common lurker is from tiles. Like this guy over here peeking out late tiles and going cat is like really strong. Hence why it's probably worth to go push them. They actually don't have flank watch. It's down to test to see if they hold it or if they're like not really about that. Like they're not worried about it. And so it would be helpful to make them worried about it, and also just to get the information for yourself in this game in particular. I think it's worth it. You're either like already fast rotating because you don't care to get that information, or you do. Because you're like, if you're going to anchor here, it's like you might as well walk, see what happens. If you lose the round, you lose the round. Like this is a round you're not statistically going to win, but like if you can create some openings, that'd be sick. But instead you're playing really passive. I mean, there's the lurker. They actually walked B. Caught him in an off angle because you were an anchor. Phoenix is alive. This is crazy. I think this is legitimately insane. But it's kind of hard to tell because I don't have minimap presence. So I don't know if your entire team's like stacked towards B, you're the only one, or stacked towards A, you're the only one on B side. If you push up here and give an opening, like they have ult, they have Phoenix ult, like things can get really spooky. Like, I'm down for the heater if, like, the heater is, like, the guy's, like, right here. You, like, killed this guy and the guy's here. But, like, if you're just gonna run up and scale and try to contest by yourself, that feels really awkward. And if they're, like, fighting, that's chilling. But this seems like... Okay, well, your team's cat. Okay, you get punished for it, thankfully. Yeah, and they should plant B. And you can honestly lose this round. Like, this round is super losable now. Yeah, you do lose it. That's tough. You won the round, and then you just, like, all you had to do was fall back. Like, the majority of these times, we're just kind of falling under the trap of we're not following the numbers rule. And the numbers rule, of course, in context, is if you have more numbers than your opponents, in most cases, you should take on less risk versus if your opponents have more numbers. Whoopsie. then you should incur more risk and you would go for that fight. So for example, if it was like a 2v, like you're a B, there's one person on A, it's a 2v4, like I'm down to walk out. Like I was down to walk out at the start, then you killed one, you killed two, and now it's like, okay, well the game state changed, it's a 4v2. Let's just chill. Or I think it was a 4v3, which even in that case, it's like live, see what happens, and then we can decide to push up. What kind of got you is that like we killed this guy and there was no like, let's evaluate my spot like real quick, like take 1, 2, 3, evaluate the spot and then push up. It was, you killed this guy and you ran up immediately. Like you like W keyed. Like you're dead to this guy for sure if there's someone behind him. And you're possibly dead to this guy who's about to peek you. I'm done. Yeah, that's a Phoenix. That's tough. Oh, hey, bud. Yeah, that dude just ran you down. Okay. See, dude. A lot of it comes down to, do you have a plan? What realistically was your plan if they were gonna just Phoenix ult? The idea, it seemed in my mind, was you're gonna get to here and then cut this guy off and then fall back. But honestly, it's just, it would be really strong if you hear Phoenix ult. You don't even throw a bullet. You just kind of run and drop and just play under and see what happens. Like try to break the dart as you come out. Those are like your options. Like your only like real option is to run to sight. But it's likely you didn't know what to do. Like you get caught way off guard. Like I personally would just be like jumped down. Ah, you probably missed it. Yeah, I think you missed the jump, which is tough. Because I think you were trying to do that. And then you get into the spot. Yeah, you just missed the jump. All good. We can fix that. In my infinite wisdom, I gave some sort of out like, oh, you just missed the jump, that's why you died. No, absolutely not. I think the biggest mistake that this player made in this spot was anticipation. Anticipation is a big part of the game. Way bigger than a lot of people think, and I think it is one of the fundamental blocks of the entire game. I think it takes anticipation for everything from crosshair placement to ability timing to your old like whole macro play and all that. Like reading your opponents is one thing, but like also anticipating like what they're attempting to do from those reads is like one of the backbone skills to develop in Valorant. And I think we're missing that here because they have Phoenix ult. So whatever they're going to do, they're just going to rush at you with a free life and a lot of bodies. And so you're just going to get this raw that isn't really going to help you in any way. I mean, yeah, you are Arena, you can heal from it, dismiss, but it's like, okay, it's one of those free fights that you kind of either want to take at super advantage and then have a quick reposition or not. And so if we look at Phoenix ult from this lens, and even like what the enemy team is likely going to do with it, they're going to rush. So if you hear a lot B, you either go for this fight, which I'm totally down for, like dodge the first flash, fight, see what happens, get that dismiss, that reposition. You might still get chased down by the Phoenix unless he was the one you caught. Or you either pre-plan and position in a way that you can dodge the rush, like the brunt of the rush. Like you say, you start on site and you play next to Boathouse because you're anticipating a rush. Well then, okay, we've prepared and anticipated the play that they were likely going to do. And then we could talk further from there. But here we were caught way off guard. They just run at us and it's a Phoenix ult. The dude just chases us down, runs our block off, and then bada bing bada boom just pops us. So I think a lot of it is developing like an anticipation to what they're going to do and reading patterns. So if they've shown something like this before, which the team has, they've shown that they're willing to rush, that you should be aware of that and have some sort of plan for it. Yeah, that's kind of why I was against like just cutting across, because this flash is undodgeable and it's a very common Phoenix flash because they don't have Omen. Dude, that's so good that that's not spammable anymore.
I can play my ult for plus.
One's on site.
It's just like, what's our protocol? Like when stuff happens, you know? I think a lot of it, macro-wise, the shooting is like okay. But the macro side of the game is like, if they run you down, like, what's your plan? But like, we went to stairs, which is a terrible position to be in. Like, if you can help it, you don't want to be stairs. I'm going to show you, like, really good positions on B, because B has so many good positions. So, like, let's say you're the Reyna. So, let's say you come here, and your prerogative is, like, you spot here, and if they're full 5 rushing you, you just run back to site, which I believe is correct. I personally think fighting for the site is way easier than fighting for all this. All these fights suck for the defenders without, like, copious amounts of utility, which then, like, these guys can just wait out. They can do like a re-clear, like towards mid or something like that, and now you're just kind of in like spaghetti territory, especially if nobody's like pushing out a main, or they're like not pushing out mid, breaking this turret. It's like you give them options and there's not a whole lot you can do. And if you do just give these fights, like, this sucks. Like, on average, these guys will win, especially in this stair spot. Like, this stair spot is probably one of the worst spots to fight from. I see a lot of people fighting it because it's just like, well, I'm just gonna ego you, and it rarely transitions out or like checks out. So like, imagine you just ran to site and stayed site. There's a couple of spots. Obviously, boathouse is one of the clean spots. You have like right here behind triple. You have here against his back wall. You have like anywhere under the ledge is really strong. I think jump up is pretty weak in comparison to any of those other spots. But if you just run, pick one of these spots, especially if they're just exploding out on you, it's definitely worth to at least consider. I'm down for the... I'm kind of not down for the eye to stall. I feel like we just kind of spent, what, 250 creds? Or it's 300 or something like that. Kind of did nothing with it, but... Because I don't really like the idea of using util for stall for, like, many cases. Because it builds, like, a bad habit. I think the better habit is to use it to kill people. To help clarify what I mean by use it to, like, not stall or not to stall... I don't want the initial idea for utility to stall. While the utility can have that effect, I'm much more like the idea of giving the utility a purpose to kill, because then like the utility feels a lot more impactful, feels a lot more proactive, and it feels purposeful. Like, it isn't you being afraid of the enemy, it's you trying to catch the enemy and use your momentary disadvantage to turn it to your advantage. So I think that using utility just under the basis of stalling, which I haven't talked to this player in length, so I don't have the initial reasoning behind it. Very well could have just thrown the blind to throw the blind, just to throw them off their game or expect the swing, which I guess is stalling to a degree. But from the way I look at it, it's like, okay, you're trying to slow them down. Rain of Blind is not really going to slow people down, usually. But even if it does, it's just like, okay. And instead, we should definitely be using it to, like, set up kills from lane, set up kills from switch, like, throw them off guard with, like, a backwards blind towards lane while we're tucked in switch. As they're coming out, catch them while they're blind, get that kill, reposition, and then now that blind has purpose, and we're like attempting to be proactive, which is the main thing. Yeah, very likely not be. They're gonna be tiles if anything. Yep, there's that tiles player. I wouldn't flash to come out. When you're the rotator, you only want to use like utility if it's necessary. So like in these scenario, like if we look at, because we're looking at the mini map, we're not doing anything. We're not looking at our gun. We're knife out rotating. So if we look at the mini map, like we know this is smoked. We know this is covered. 3 people are looking at the smoke. You don't have to flash to come out because you didn't hear like any utility pop. Like you didn't see, like this didn't happen. Nothing from this happened, and you didn't hear like a jet dash. So it's like, all you're telling them is that now there are 4 people A, and you're telling them that B is free. That's all you're telling them by flashing out of here, because you're not killing anybody here. Oh, all right. Well, hold on. We're gonna take a peek at this movement real quick. So we decide not to, which I'm down for. Okay. Here's something that's a little counter intuitive. So if you ever want to fight somebody like on ones and they're like on the same line, instead of going back to this cover where they can still expose you to the same line, you actually peek past them and go deeper. So instead of trying to strafe back into cover, you actually want to just keep going left here. Like as like a bit of a movement tip. So like, I'll show the... So once you see 2 on screen, you don't want to commit to this. This isn't like and you see this guy, you literally just move left. Because all we did was just kind of stand like out in the open for what, like 2 seconds. And in this game, that's just dead. You're just dead. So I think a better way to contextualize this point as instead of just coming up with the answers like you just stood in the open for a second, really think when this kind of concept is a decently high level, but when you draw aggro to your position, generally players' crosshairs are going to be trained on you. And so if you peek it normally after you just shown presence, which is what our protagonist here did, they're just going to pop you in the head. And you're going to die, and you're going to feel silly and stupid for doing what you did. And so to combat this, you have a couple of opportunities or a couple of things you could do here. So in the context of peeking out again, you could always use utility. Reyna has blind. That's the easiest just throw and go type ability in the game. You also could have done more of a wide swing, change up the movement, or even like jump peek out would be kind of funny. I don't think it would be the best scenario, but it beats just getting your head clicked. I do think that a wide swing there would have been really strong after the tuck. Because I know in the situation, you unswing. But if we do unswing, we have to identify your spot and then do something different. If you do the same thing, you're just going to get caught. Especially if you do it so quickly. I think that's how I would actually fix that problem in particular that was shown. Okay, here's something I actually want you to consider. If you've opted this spot before, chances are you're not going to get that shot again. Ideally, this guy should be darting you out if they're going to take mid, or if there's a lurker, he's going to jump spot it. So if you ever find yourself getting a kill with an op a previous round, something that you can do when you are like when you're buying it again is you would go to one of the mains. Because you don't want to play retake. That is the last thing you want to do with the op. It's just one of the worst things. Of course, he himself just blasted with the op in the last retake towards A. But on average, most rounds, that's not going to happen. So if you're ever in this spot, it's actually perfectly fine to just go B main, hold with the op. You might have to dodge the Phoenix flash, but I'm pretty sure like you'll fry. Like if you go. I'm curious if you get punished for this. Okay, yeah, well they dart. Or they drone. You should get ulted here, but the Sova is a pansy. Bro, what? He doesn't just instantly ult you. Alright, sure, whatever. I mean, yeah, now you're like very... I mean, this is just shorty time. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bro, what? Now you ult? You had a tagged Reyna in the corner, and now you ult? He might still even kill you. That's... This is the end result, but we didn't get there the way I thought we would get there. All right, cool. Cool. All right, yeah, but this is kind of what I was saying. Like, when you have shown presence of something, like, it's in their heads. Like, they know you're opping mid. Or they have an idea that you're going to be opping mid. Like, higher level players will be like, okay, well, this guy might switch his position. You just be wary. Like, the op could be on this side of the map or mid. Like... But when you show them a pattern, they'll follow through and they'll just be a little more careful. Like you saw from the drone. And then you should have died the second you got tagged by the drone. But hey, we live in a world where it took him a minute to get like started. Hot dog. Happy 4th, everyone. Okay, you go lane. Oh, happy 4th. It is even in the 3v. Yeah, I'm down to hunt. Okay, so here's something that's really funny that you can do, which would make this round a lot easier, because now they know that you close the door, you're only going to come from this way. And if your Cypher's like really patient, what you should actually do in this spot is just sit here for like 30 seconds. But open the door. Because all we need to do is give a doubt that you're rapping. Or you could rap. Those are like two really real options that you can consider at this time. Obviously, you guys can just go fight them. But if they're any sensible at the game, they're going to stand right here. They're just going to hold you together. And you have to contest space with no utility. And they have to control space, which is a lot easier for them to do. Because actually, like, peeking into people is weaker when they have off-angle advantage. Like, if these guys are standing on the on-angle, like, cool, you'll probably win. If you peek out and you don't have, like, a clue where they are, they're just going to shoot you in the head. And you should, like, die for sure. Oh, and if they're playing some sort of cross, that'll be gross. Here, let me show what this will look like. Yeah, because they're not past this. There's going to be a guy here with contact to this line, and this guy's probably right here getting ready to swing off of him. If they're good at the game. They could also be doubled up.
One enemy remaining. I have this bite.
You can go bomb.
Cool. All right. Never mind. That dude's bad at the game. We take those. Like, the Phoenix just fought 2 people for free instead of peeking off his jet. That dude is an idiot. So hey, punish them. Because now you're going to do the exact same thing to them that they should have done to you. And you guys are going to play some kind of cross. Okay, but now you're the idiot. Because this guy has the line. Like, he's going to see him first. On most counts, this guy has first contact. And so you looking to take this fight, and then he has to swing off of you. It's very awkward for this guy to get that fight. If you deal no damage, this round's over. Because that jet can flick on this guy, and it's a relatively easy shot. But in all cases, you should just literally wait, let this guy take the fight, and then swing off of him. Okay, or just kill him. Like, sure. Now, even though you won that round, I don't think the way you won it was correct. I think if I'm going to save this point, I should clarify that we don't think about results here. Because results-based thinking really makes it easy for you to be like, okay, this is good because of the feedback is either I kill or I died. And because Valorant is a little bit more nuanced, it's hard to say that, oh, I died in this position, it's a bad position. Or I killed from this position, it's a good position. When in fact, like, those things aren't technically correlating. There are some positions where you should just win more often than not, but you lose, and then your brain internalizes, okay, well, that's a bad position. Or you'll take a dumb fight in a really bad position, win, and then internalize, oh, hey, that's a good position, I should keep doing that. And it's hard to do a reinforcement like that, which is why I knew that there was a stronger play in this particular situation. In order to peak this Cypher, the jet has to come out. And if we just swing off of the Cypher's contact, this jet dies almost 100% of the time. And I believe that that is the stronger play. Did we win the fight by taking the fight to the jet? Yes. Could we easily have lost that fight and made it kind of hard for the Cypher? Perhaps. Maybe the Cypher still wins regardless, but you start to take the game out of your hands, which is not what we want. The more control we have in our own sphere of influence, the better we'll be as players. And so I think in that regard, peek off the contact, play the strong position, and secure the round. And over the course of a while, you will be rewarded more for that than not. Okay, early dog. Yep. I mean, this is just goat time. Yep. Whoops. Yeah, this is really awkward for you. Yeah, you need to not heal. That needs to be a dismiss. You need to be out of here ASAP. This is like a really bad spot. Okay, your jet's got you though.
Someone's in defender spawn.
Good shot from the Sova. Yeah. I think that spot is like okay. But the second like you take a ton of damage from the clove, it's just a dismiss into some sort of reposition. It's probably go stairs. Like actually run in front of them. If they chase you, lead them into the jet. That's probably a good kill for the jet. Like in particular, this spot right here. Like when this fight takes a lot more time than it should, it's not heal, it's dismiss. Especially if you're getting shot at. And if we do want to talk about the fight itself with Bulldog, like we can slow it down. So when you peek right now. So let's slow it down. I'll mute it for your like listening pleasure. So missed one. We're taking these little micro steps in between the burst, and what that's doing to the Bulldog, because the Bulldog is super susceptible to movement. It has some of the most wildest inaccuracy after the first set of shots of every rifle, of course. And so these slight movements are just, look at where your like bullets are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like a lot of these are just not near the clove. Like actually just wide because you're taking these little micro steps. Same kind of idea there where it's like the first two are good and you're dodging the shot, which is fine. But in all honesty, like if this guy didn't just shoot you in the head, you just stand your ground and just click him. Unless he like does like a pre-fire, then you want to move. And then of course, we did our spiel there. You got away with pretty much murder. This is a fake. Yeah. Dang. Get on. Should honestly look for this guy. I mean, these fights are gonna suck regardless. Yeah. Oh, this is really awkward. Yeah, they're on it. I think what you do is you jump on Jen and then you go, ah. Is what it is.
Damn, that Omen smoke ruined everything.
Yeah, oh, not everything, okay? Let's not... Hear me out. In a sense. So, you killed this guy. And here's what actually could happen. You can use this to holy moly. Reposition, like, back dice. You can do it to get... I don't think you can get up here in the duration of it. I'm not sure if it lasts that long anymore. I know that the dismiss got nerfed to some degree. I don't remember if it changed for the ult as well. It's very unlikely you can get up here. And if you do, it's just like, eh. But staying up here is really tough because dropping in and of itself is really hard. So while you have options, it's just, you picked none of them. Like you picked to go safe. It's not planted for you. Like if you get to this spot, you can actually threaten the guy and they don't know that you dropped. It just puts a lot more Otis on you and a lot more pressure on like these players to keep on you. Yeah, I don't think I necessarily gave him the best feedback here. I think being proactive and putting everything in your sphere of influence again from earlier is super important. When we start to focus on what we can do versus the circumstances that the other things outside of our control cause, it's easier to climb and easier to see faults in ourselves before our teammates, and then we can learn what to get better at. So in this scenario, I think that proactivity would have been key. Like we had the Reyna dismiss after the first kill. We dismiss, get on site for free, play the dice spot, go for the kill. And we're just in such a better position because we no longer need to drop. We can, all the fights are going to be ahead of us. Unless, like, of course, if they reposition hell, like, sure, whatever, lose. But we take more of the round into our own hands, and I think that's way better for climbing.
Try to get some picks, and then we
God, I love the let's get some picks call. Because it's very common to call it, but it's just like, it's super results oriented, like calling. It's not proactive. It's like, who are we killing? Where are we killing? Like what's a good kill? And it's not even defaulting because it's like, we're like playing for picks is not the same as defaulting. 100%. People think that's defaulting. Like default means different things to different people, which is kind of, it's hard to just say default. Like if you say play default, My question to you is like, where? And people go like, huh? I'm like, default where? Because when you default, you want to take space, get information, do what you got to do. It's like the default is the play that you do like every round when you don't want to spice things up. That's why I actually don't call it. So like A main, what does that mean? Like you say A main default. In my head, that's like Omen TPs across like rush. That's not a default. Technically, it could be a default. Like if you just rush A main every round, that's your default. True. But that's essentially like why I think that if you don't define what default is, like default on this map is actually kind of studied. Do they have the pieces for it? They kind of do. They have fade. They have a jet. You have an omen. So default on this map, there's some sort of omen slide. You have some sort of mid utility, some haunt land somewhere. It's probably better to land it up here because you throw it from B lobby, or maybe even like a fade prowler through here and just clears this. And your goal is to like default take like this, and that's like the default. And like some person like contest A main or some person contest B main late, and then bada boom, bada boom. Like you're playing the game, or you just hold for it. Like you can also just hold for it, which is like you play back here, you play back here. But playing for picks is specifically looking to kill someone before you like do anything. Man, something about that doesn't seem right. Hold on. I pull up my game. Because the way we're peeking mid is like super slow. And a lot of it is it could be an insecurity of like I'm not really comfortable taking this fight, but it's really slow. And on average you'll get punished for it. So if you're going to peek this, like if you are ever going to peek this, I really want you to just like full confidence, like you're away from the wall, you just swing out and you're stepping here. Like, and if you want it to be a little more tighter, you're like a little bit further back and you're here. And then you'll like reset and then bop this guy. And you notice the difference is like how smooth it is. Like in comparison, it was like, all right, excuse me, sorry. Like super slow against the wall. Like you're trying to angle this guy, but you're not. Like you actually played this spot. Like you know players are willing to play this spot because you did it. If they're here, you're just angling yourself. They shoot you in the head. They walk away, and then now you're 4v5 and you're losing the round. Statistically. Yeah, because when you say play pick, like if your team was winning, playing picks and slowing down the game after like losing a couple of rounds is typically good because you guys are just shooting. But if your team is not shooting, that's like a little rough. Yeah, and look at the difference, right? He said default play for picks. They smoked bottom mid, which is definitely not what I think of when I think of default. Like, I definitely smoke this. Of course, the mid-bottom smoke is fine. Except that's not what he wanted. Did you hear that under his breath? He's like, oh, I didn't want that. Oh, why'd you throw that? That guy just lets it rip. Did he even get scanned? This Sova is a menace. That dude didn't even get tagged. He just ulted. He said, you know what? Fuck you. Okay. I'm down to play the little off angle. Yeah, we're a little jittery too. Break that, break that, break that. You have too many people mid. Break that. Yeah, that has got so much, man. Yeah, and like it was kind of like, oh, he didn't do it off the guy dart. Like the second he throws a dart, he just lets it rip. Yeah, that's true. He doesn't like ult off drone, he ults off dart, which is kind of interesting. But if there's a piece of utility that's coming to get information, and you're the first contact for it, and you like hear it, like just shoot it. Because what's really gonna happen? Like what's really gonna happen if it sees you and it sees nothing else? Like it's gonna be like, okay, like Reyna's up here. That's the information to get, and the Sova's like right here, and now he has to like be wary of this. But now like if it sees the Cypher, then a lot more people can come and watch towards mid because there's 2 people mid. That's guaranteed. I think actually it got way more than that too. Like you letting this drone go forward, it gets the tag off the Cypher, who is like in a vulnerable position. Like he's exposed to market, he's exposed to this. It's like, uh-oh. It's like, yikes. And yeah, I did see a lot. Like the drone saw more. Okay. Trade it out. They have Odins. That's tough. God, I feel like you don't want that smoke. Well, that's awkward. I mean, is it a bad play to walk out? Absolutely not. So let's identify like what we can do. So like, let's say like this is smoked. We're like, okay, we're going to scale out. You can just shoot this dart. Like, as it's flying, shoot this dart. That's one decision we can make. Let's say, like, okay, we turn and shoot this dart. All right, that's one. Which, of course, it would have been more like preemptively. Like, we see the dart run and we, like, preemptively aim to where we think it's going to be instead of having to reactively flick. Of course, now we have another conundrum. Do we just fight this guy? Or do we try to tuck? Like, either way, they have information on us on the minimap, which opens up the possibility of a spam, right? That's why we die to spam here, is this guy knows that we're here. We show up on the minimap, and we don't move. So, we're tagged here. We can't move anywhere else. That dude is just going to spam. He actually kind of spams you running away. And then they come back and kill you. Yeah, for this round in particular, after I do this feel and let it play out, I personally actually think, upon revisiting it, that it's a routing issue. Most players don't route out in the open to try to go from tiles to fountain to stairs to catwalk. Most people don't route that way. So when you start tiles, it's actually way more beneficial for you to route closer to fridge. First of all, it's a stronger position. Second of all, it puts the jet fight in front of you. And honestly, I think if you tuck, you can dodge the dart. As long as you hug the wall tightly as you're scaling out. But I think, like, myself being like, oh, react to this dart, you're still just dead to the jet. I think that a lot of it has to do with how we initially route, and then we put ourselves in a bad position, which then leads to us getting spotted and sprayed down from the mid guy, which is tough. It definitely is a little tough. So after the VOD, we kind of went through a couple of things, and I ended up going with on defense, he needs to have some sort of plan of action, or like an anticipation to how the enemy will attack him. Either it be a rush, a split, and then what he is going to do in response to that action. I think that note is completely fine. I think on defense, it is that lack of proactivity that's been kind of collaborating him, because he doesn't take into account what the enemy is going to do instead of what he's going to do, which is a good start. It's good to have your own plan of action, but the next step is incorporating that plan of action and then interconnecting it to what the enemy wants to do. I think that note is totally fine. And on attack, we talked about routing, which coming through this VOD, I'm actually super okay with talking about and going through. I think the examples that I gave were wrong. There were some rounds where the routing actually was pretty good and pretty natural. It's just that we kind of wanted to clean up some of the rounds where it's more efficient. You get from point A to point B in a way that feels a little more natural. I'd say some key examples of routing is just picking a consistent route and running it, and just kind of trialing and erroring with a couple of things. You can even steal from the pros if you want. I know Scream loves to just run straight into logs on B main, and on A, he'll just, if he gets a kill, he'll just dismiss run gen. If he doesn't, he'll close door. And if they're doing a split, he'll run wide to contest heaven. Those are like a couple of examples if you want to give yourself, I'd say, just a little bit of time, watch a couple of VODs, see how people route and just copy them. I'm totally down. Or if you have your own kind of idea of how you feel like you want to route, totally down for it. I'm super cool. I'm super down for it. So I think that note in general was pretty good. And then we actually get to the habit note, where we talked about how the movement is very jittery, very baby step-ish. And while high-level players will tell you that you're supposed to move a lot and like constantly be moving side to side, I think that you can only do that if you can shoot as fast as you move. If there's any sort of desync between your movement and your shooting, like we see in a couple of examples, definitely that Bulldog example showed. And there was a couple of rounds with the Sheriff where he's a little fast for the liking. And because that is the case, I think that he's not ready to shoot as fast. And so what we want to do for him is kind of smooth out the movement, slow it down, like smooth stroke, stop, shoot, smooth stroke, aim, stop, shoot. And the faster we can get at getting to the target, stopping and shooting, the more like micro set steps you're allowed to take. It just comes with the natural evolution of skill that I'd say the lower you are on the spectrum, he's diamond, which is not too low, but not too high. Like the lower you are, the more wide and smooth your step would be. And then the higher you go, the kind of more short and like stockier steps you can take because you can shoot within those margins. So that's it. It's just a level. It isn't like one is better than the other. It's just a level of competency will dictate where you want it to go. So for the actual end notes, I'm totally happy with how the ideas that I conveyed. I think that how we got there could use definite improvement. I missed the mark on so many of the smaller stuff that it comes to show that I probably should take more time thinking about my diagnosis and how important it actually is to your growth. So I think that that's something that I'm going to take from this review, from this video going forward off the start date of the upload. And hopefully I can get really good at giving you a proper diagnosis. So with that being said, I do thank you guys so much for watching. If indeed you still are, I wish you all the best of the luck on the climb. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.